Hi, everybody. My name is Melikia Courtney, and when Carolyn reached out to me to ask if I would record a 30-minute talk on I Am Black History, I was honored to say the least. And it set me back into a great world of thought, which was wonderful because I needed to slow down. Life is kind of very busy, business is very busy, but it being Black History Month to slow down and really understand what that really means and then what it means to me and then how I affect Black history. I think about the history books. I'm not in any of those history books yet, but this opportunity is amazing. So, with all that to say, just thank you so much, Carolyn, for reaching out to me. It's been a minute. I miss your face and your beautiful, beautiful smile. So, let's begin. I am Malikia Courtney, as I mentioned earlier. I am Black history. My family upbringing, we grew up initially in a very affluent area, so I thought it appropriate to start this story in the essence of what it means to be Black in America. We have such a struggle forward. There is a rise and an effort to maintain once you've achieved a certain square and stay on it. And I can say that my life mirrors that. So I am an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurial life came to me. It came early in that my mother and my grandmother, they believed in making money. And again, we lived in a very nice area. My childhood was that 0 to 6 was wonderful. There were no real issues that I could pinpoint and say, hey, financially, this was a struggle. We were running around in furs. We were the house where all the kids wanted to come over to play because we had everything to play with. We were that. And then eventually moved to what I call hell, which is not nice, but it's true. We moved to the south side of Chicago. My grandmother purchased a 6 family dwelling, blah, blah, blah. And in that transition, there were a few things that occurred. The affluent, peaceful, wonderful, protected, shielded life, that went away quick. And there was such a devastation. The sunlight that I needed was not there. And that may sound strange to some listening, but some of you got that. Either how. In what I felt like was a sundowning, financially, things took a turn. It was way more than each bargained for. There were relationships that dissolved, and it left us in a position of what I perceived as poor and poverty, even though we owe the property. So it tells you the mindset, right? That can creep in, which again speaks to the struggle in Black history. Let's fast forward a little bit. Education. That's something that is so big in my family. My mom was not playing. Being educated, understanding how to communicate well with one another, and being a listener. Those were tenets in our home. They were not optional. And that's one thing when I think about being Black history, that is who we are. Are we not amazing and strong in our understanding that in order to rise to the positions that we seek, education is a key part of that. You can't avoid that. And no, I'm not necessarily saying that you have to go and get that 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 year university degrees. Everybody's that's not their path, but for some it is. I am saying that you do have to take responsibility for your education, right? And let's jump a little bit further because I definitely want to respect the time frame here. Let's talk about me and life. Um, Moving through it, I understood looking around me. So being a 70s born baby, catching more of my formative, my, my understanding and my efforts in the 80s and 90s. It has been amazing. I touched racism by the time I was 6, 7. I understood the difference. By the time I was 8, 9, it was very, very clear, stark. And that spilled over. Unfortunately, you see my skin. You know that being brown and black in America is a very interesting thing. And it comes with the challenges that it comes with, but at no point do those challenges get to become excuses. And I pressed forward. Definitely went into several fields. And again, my base is entrepreneurship, so don't forget that. But I pushed into corporate America. I was one of the youngest managers for a clothing store, a men's clothing store called Backrack. And that was something. That was something. We'll leave it at that. So that was one of my blushes with corporate America. I did several things in that space, and it was clear that was not for me. It was, yes, I could thrive in it. Yes, I enjoyed a lot of the humans that I interacted with, but man, oh man, having somebody tell me when I go do this or go to the bathroom, that just was not for me. Yeah, or be here and you have a set hour to work, but that doesn't matter for you. This is what I need you to do and I need you here. So I began to pour out in that direction. Now, mind you, that's professional. On the emotional end and on the self end, I was a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. I had some issues. I developed some serious um, identity issues and heart issues, a lot of hurt, rejection, abuse, things like that. So I was doing that dance, and that is it's so indicative of what we as Black Americans kind of go through. Life does not stop, but we still gotta deal with our mess, right? I was dealing with my mess. And it was spilling over. Like they were meeting in the middle. They were definitely crossing lines and causing problems because I did not know how to handle it at the time. Let's talk about marriage for a second there. My ineffectiveness at understanding related and choosing partners resulted in a marriage that was very abusive and nearly ended with my death, right? At the hands of my ex husband. And sometimes in life, you hit those moments where they're just marker moments, right? That was a marker moment for me. It was no longer optional just to keep pressing forward. And I mean, by that time, I had experienced job loss, I had experienced beyond burnout, I had experienced homelessness. And there was so much baggage, but thank God for my ex. And I know it's odd to say, with the history that we have, but I don't care. Thank God for the people who played roles in my life, who stood as that mirror, like, hey, this is where you are, this is what you're emitting, this is your vibration, this is what you're attracting and you're holding. And that's how I got here because he made it to me in a very colorful fashion. You got to read my book if you want to hear more about that because we're not going into that right now. Um, but just understanding, I mean, when I flip it back into the point here, I ain't the only person who touched cuckoo, in the sense of life choices or failures, making every effort and still feeling like the world was burning down around me. I know I'm not the only person. I know that there's so many people who are listening that connect with that moment, whether it was um, abuse, whether it was a move that devastated, whether it's a financial failure, where it was taking a risk that you just knew was wonderful and burned your castle down and left you at a point where you had to rebuild. And does not that speak of Black America? We have a lot to rebuild. We just got uh, let me say it politely, past 45. And now we're working into 46 president, and we will see how things go. But feel the climate. I know everybody, we feel that vibration. And to understand how to build forward, now it's not even just a building forward of an upward motion for self and family and legacy. We've now returned to securing the area around us as a race. And for me, that was no different, just again, my life paralleled because I got to that point when I parted with my ex. It was like a square one, kind of like what I feel we're in right now. with the rebuilding and then reconnecting because we've become so divided. Not to mention that the pandemic has added so much space, right? But in that time in my life, that's how it felt. There was so much space. I had thousands of relationships, literally, people that I was, hundreds of people that I interacted with on a weekly basis, gone. Okay? Ex, gone. But the situation stayed, and guess who was still there? Me. Had to deal with me. Had to deal with my mindset, had to deal with my fears, you know, and I did not. Thank God I did not do it alone. And I do, it's very recognizable when it comes to entrepreneurs. A lot of you are solopreneurs. Knock it off. Doing it alone is so lonely. And that spills over into your life, right? Because I said your work life, your entrepreneurial life here, but you still have life here. There's still you in there, and the you that's dealing with skin color, the you that's dealing with past emotions and trauma that you have not taken time to untie the knot in your heart and free yourself and free that person that's tied in there so tightly with you that you haven't forgiven or haven't even really understood the offense that there really is no offense. I did not do it alone. I had a village, that village that we heard about growing up, the village that it takes to raise a child. That same village is needed to sustain the adult. And no one ever said that. I was like, okay, well, here's the truth. I had to learn it. And sure, I'm sure other folks knew it, but just in my circle, that was not something that was hammered. We knew to build the village, but what about connecting, staying connected, and building one another? Partnerships. Therapists definitely had two of the most incredible therapists on the planet, counselors, and that was powerful for me. Powerful for me. It helped me understand the power that I had to define my identity over what anyone else had said up to that point. It helped me to recognize my power. It did not give me power. It did not give me all these pillars because I feel like a lot of people are seeking outside of themselves, waiting for someone to give it to them. That is the case. What they were able to do was to help me slow down, identify what was rocking my boat in the business world and personally, and understand what was in me. I got to unpack me. And when I began to unpack me, ooh wee, how many wonderful things were there. God had already done it. God had already done it. It was already in me. It had been evidenced from the time I was six that I can remember, 5, 6. And I had not drawn the conclusions. I had not used that needle and thread to sew it all together. You know, a little bit here, a little bit there. And isn't that how life works? A little bit here, a little bit there, and then the full picture comes. We're big puzzlers too. We love to do puzzles, especially my middle son and I. And that's how life is. Life is you're constantly getting new puzzle pieces and you're seeing where they fit. Now let's move a little bit further. Let's talk about life experiences. You guys, I've had some fun and we'll touch back on employment for a little bit. Initially, retail was my wheelhouse, and I had started writing actually by then too, with doing retail. Just friends reaching out like, hey, because I was excellent in a few things when it came to writing, editing more so. And I had people reaching out and paying me, hey, would you edit this? Hey, would you write that? So that kind of began that content creator fire in me. And I love to create. That is who I am. I'm a creative person. I get a lot of calls for that actually, for creating content, for creating programs and signature talks. Da, da, da. From that point, I went on to law enforcement. I worked as a correctional officer in Florida. And that's when I learned to play with guns, you guys. And we'll touch on that again a little bit about understanding the power that's in you. But from law enforcement, I went on to behavioral health modifications. And that I share just to give you a picture of kind of how my wheels spin. I'm creative, I'm a writer. Content is not an issue for me. I'm beyond helpful because I serve my family and my community hands down. No hesitation because that is what it takes, right? So what I'm doing is I'm kind of describing part of your village for you and teaching you how to pick, you know, what do I need in my village? Who do I need in my village? Because literally that is the tone of the day. If you haven't figured that out by now, let me tell you straightforward, get your team together because 2022, you think you've seen something in 2020? Wait till 2022. Okay, fast forward. During the course of behavioral health modifications, I was injured, cervical spine injury C345. And that did a wonderful thing for me, you guys. Horrible as it was, and I can't even go into great detail, lost and so, but it was a blessing. I did not know how to walk away. And I'm gonna let that sit for a second. I didn't know how to walk away. I heard spirit, God, elevation, universe, self telling me it's time to go. But I couldn't. I was in love with the patients and caring for them. And oh my God, they were growing, they were learning, they were burning things down. But I could not walk away and ended up with that injury. And what it did for me was put me in front of a doctor who told me irreparable, irreversible damage. And I was like, damn, that was not good news because what did that mean? It meant that I could no longer operate in my field, behavioral health modifications, behavioral health, any of that, anything that involved um, strenuous activity, no more. And what did that mean? I love law, and I could not go back. That took 2 careers right there. Boom. Plan A, plan B out the window. And it set me square on my heels with the understanding and truth I was unemployable, which was wonderful. Now I still try to persist and work different jobs, that went sideways. We'll have that conversation when you're in the room with me doing that workshop with me or such. But it reminded me of who I was. I'm an entrepreneur. I was masquerading as a manager, as an officer, as a PhD, MHC. But who I am just would not sit quietly. And those events had to move and come into place. And then bringing it back into Black history, you guys, is that not our life? Have we not learned how to overcome? Did we not make songs about it, y'all? It is, it's amazing. Like a lot of people can look at the challenges in their life, right? And be so bummed about the trouble, fall into depression, lay in it and give up and grab some dirt and try to cover themselves up and pretend to be dead. But nah. And we do that to our talents, don't we? And we do that to our gifts. Nah, we put a dirt on it, but they refuse to die. And that is who we are as a people. We refuse to die. We ain't going nowhere. So I love that. I love Carolyn for just pushing me back in thought because sometimes we need to be still and think and understand how we weave into the fabric of Black history. I am Black history. And not only am I Black history, I passed on Black history, y'all. I made some babies. I have 3 daughters and 3 sons who are incredible, incredible. And they have the challenges that they have. But guess what? Amazing. I would choose them again and again, lifetime, this one and the next, because they are incredible. They love like none. Their loyalty, oh my God. Mouse, and if you want to party, like I'm grateful. My children are grown, 18 to 30, so I have did my bid. My grandbabies are here, and I'm blessed. I'm very, very blessed. And that is how I see Black community. It is a blessing. And I did not always see that. I did, when it comes to education, let's touch that. I spoke the Queen's English in a very proper manner because my mom insisted that is who she is. She was not playing. And I'm grateful for it today. But do understand, moving into an area where that was just not a thing, where people spoke a very broken English and attacked anything that was unlike it, that was stark. And that is also, it's visible in our history where people attack what they don't understand or what they feel inferior to the point where you have some folks running around screaming white supremacy. Baby, there ain't no such thing. That does not exist. That is a construct that was created in someone's mind and then ran with. Let me tell you what does exist. Black power. Black power. That exists. And I had an amazing conversation with Dr. George Fraser yesterday. He was kind enough, gracious enough to join me and my partners, Jose Baeza, John Dillman, Jay Juarez, on our Lunch and Learn platform that takes place every Tuesday. We do it through Facebook, so you guys are welcome to come find us there. Lunch and Learn. It's 12:30 every Tuesday, and we go live through Facebook. Lunch and Learn with Melikia, John, Jay, and Jose. I believe that's how it's written, something like that. Either way, find it and go through all the videos because we have had great, oh God, incredible leaders come and just share. And he wrote the book, Success Runs in Our Race. He wrote that book. And we had him on the show for about 45 minutes and he just dropped bomb after bomb after bomb. And our topic was love and other business mysteries, love, high value, and other business mysteries. And again, we are, when I say Black Power, we are that business mystery. It is a mystery that we have not died off. We are the people who refuse to die. And when we remember who we are, kind of like me refusing to accept and honor myself as an entrepreneur and say it loud and proud, it doesn't go away. It doesn't get quiet. It refuses to die. And the only way that I could even perceive anyone reaching that point of death is by quitting. You quit, you would have to refuse it every day. Something is calling your spirit. Something is calling you to more and to greater. And there's a responsibility that we have as Black diaspora, really, to amass because we have people coming behind us. Someone's waiting on you. Someone's waiting on your book. Someone's waiting on your idea. Someone's waiting on you to show up. And I can say that it's beautiful. I have a lot of wonderful people in my circles that are brown skin and they show up. I have had incredible leaders along the way to teach me how to show up. And because I've shown up, my message of hope, I speak to domestic violence survivors, I speak to trauma survivors. I work privately, a lot of times by referral only with 6, 7, and 8 figure people, females and males, mostly males, who have had an incredible amount of success, but still haven't figured out that happiness, wholeness, identity, God peace. And I would not have gotten to this point, let's throw it all together, without my village. We are a village. Can we recognize that? Can we accept that? I don't care if I go hop across the water to Ghana and go to my brother's home. I'm still responsible for that village. I don't care if I head up to Paris and hang out with my girl. I'm still responsible for that village that she's a part of. And once we, as a people, commit to the understanding that there is no separation, there is no separation. We, not even language barrier is an excuse for such separation. We still have that responsibility to one another. And when we rise to it, when we come and love on each other, there ain't no love like our love. Can nobody figure it out? There's no creativity like our creativity. That's why. That's why I can say that white supremacy is fallacy and black power is an actualization. That's the truth. That's the truth. So I have enjoyed this time. And I've enjoyed the reflection. If I can be of help to you in any way, please do reach out because we are literally making history. We're doing it right now. We're making history. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what your grandbabies are going to say? Or your grandbabies' children and their grandchildren? What are they going to say about you? What are they going to say? Are they going to say you showed up, and because you showed up, it set a square of life for them that put them in a position where they didn't have to strive and fight like our ancestors did? You know, how are you positioning you? For those business owners, let me speak to your heart and just encourage you and say, thank you. Thank you for sticking it out. Thank you for fighting. Thank you for not quitting. Thank you for being bold enough and brave enough to make your mark, to pick your square and stand on it. And that is what I have done, and that is what I encourage and advocate for. I am love, and I allow love. I allow that harmony. I allow peace. I allow relationships that are wholesome. And I inspire others to do the same, right? Isn't that isn't that it? Isn't that what we work for? To choose happiness every day, right? To choose life every day, as my girl Dallas Cohen says. Choose life. You have to. And that is who we are as a people. I believe that from my soul. We have chosen every day. Every day I wake up and my eyes open, my feet hit the floor. Thank you, God. Let's do it again. That's the fighter. We got a fighter in us. We got a beast in us that cannot be stopped, that cannot be quelled. And that is who I identify as. Very quiet. I will smile and I will tell you the truth while I do it. So we're at about 20 minutes. I want to respect your time because I respect your time, right? I respect my time as well. And I do have people that I need to serve today. But man, this opportunity I just couldn't pass up. It took me a couple of weeks to get it into my schedule. But you are that important to me. You're that important to me to stop what I'm doing and just come be a part of your community. You've heard a little bit about my story. And if something that I shared touched you and I can help you shortcut to your success, let me know. I'm here for that. I'm here for that. And the people that I mentor and work with and coach, they will tell you I stop the world for them because I understand that I don't chase money. That's foolishness. I chase helping the heart get to where it needs to be to heal. Because if I can help someone heal, then I've helped communities heal because they'll take it back, right? And they'll add that healing and everything that I have gone through, the disappointments, the rejection, the abuse. I studied it and became, I don't even call myself a master. I have people that call me master at it, at walking out of those situations, at still being able to hold my smile and my head up and do what I gotta do. And I do it from a place of joy. I don't have to find it. I'm sure that's a blessing from God and I receive it. But baby, I did the work too. I did the work too to learn. And God definitely walked me through that process from trauma to life. So I always make myself available for that too. Um, this has been my Black History moment. I am Black History. I am Melikia Courtney, MK, Coach MK to a lot of folks. Let me serve you. You've blessed me by even just listening to me. I'm grateful. Carolyn, woman, you rock. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye, guys. I don't know how to stop it. Oh, there we go.